I was busy thinking about
Baby, I got issues, but I love myself. Baby, I got issues, but I love myself. I don't like the way.
Hello fellow humans. I want to start this video by saying thank you. Like 700 subs? What? Like, how is this even possible? I have no idea how this managed to happen, but thank you so much. Loudly crying face. 2 hearts. But anyways, back to the video. Loudly crying face. I made a Todomomo wedding and BakuDeku proposal video previous to this one, so I suggest you watch that before this for context. The link to the video will be in the description. You all asked for a part 2, and I shall provide. Although it won't be the wedding just yet. The general idea for this video is based off of a suggestion that I got from one of my subs, so thank you. This video will include the following ships, so please be respectful. Disclaimer, there will be cussing, and I know you're all used to my videos being fluff. But this video is going to have some angst. Nervous expression that know some of you might want to hunt me down after this video. I also want to mention that I have an Instagram account, where I will be updating about posted and upcoming videos. Link will be in the description. Watch until the end for an announcement on an upcoming video. Face with wide open eyes and flushed cheeks. Anyways, let's continue with the video. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. Enjoy smiling face with hearts. Deku had said yes to their forever, and that was exactly what they were planning for. They didn't waste any time as they made their guest list, and started brainstorming ideas for the ceremony and reception. They began to look at venues for both the wedding ceremony and reception, along with finding a cake. Before they could even begin looking for cakes, Bakugo immediately shot down the idea of it being All Might themed. Surprisingly enough, the fanboy hadn't even considered that, but was still slightly upset that it wasn't a possibility. Both of them had agreed that their bridesmaids and groomsmen would be mixed. They were going to choose who they wanted on their side, regardless of gender. To no one's surprise, Kirishima was chosen to be Bakugo's best man, and Deku chose Uraraka to be his maid of honor. Kirishima was hyped and honored when he found out, and Bakugo acted as if he didn't care. They all knew he did though, which made the announcement even better. Uraraka was overjoyed and almost cried. She was the obvious choice to be the maid of honor, since she was Deku's best friend, but she was still surprised and happy. From there, they had decided on their wedding party. In addition to Kirishima, Bakugo also chose Todoroki, Ida, Takoyami, Kaminari, Ajiro, and Sero. Conveniently enough, Deku had decided on bridesmaids and groomsmen, whose romantic partner was already on the other side of the altar. As his bridesmaids, he chose Mina, Momo, Tsuyu, Jiro, and Toru. As his groomsmen he chose Aoyama, who unlike the rest, didn't have a romantic partner in the wedding party. The wedding dance lessons that they participated in were some of the more entertaining wedding preparations. Babe, no, it's like this. I'm doing that. Denki laughed at their exchange. You would think that the guy would know how to dance at least a little after knowing and dating a dancer for so many years. I heard that. You were meant to. Oh, shut up. You're one to talk. You're stepping on my feet more than I am on yours. A chuckle was heard from the mum of the class. Guys, behave. That's easy for the rich couple to say. You guys probably learned how to partner dance when you were 12. 10, actually. His wife, along with their other friends, deadpanned at his comment. Uraraka, stop worrying about that. You're not poor anymore. There was a silence in the air that soon broke out in a fit of laughter. Toru tried to hide her laughter despite her clothes shaking as she silently laughed. Takoyami and Tsuyu chuckled, and everyone else didn't bother to hold back. Kirishima and Mina being the loudest. Even Ida struggled to contain his laughter, as his girlfriend buried her face into his chest out of embarrassment. Hey, stop with the throwback jokes. She felt Ida's chest slightly vibrate, and looked up to see him struggling to keep a straight face. She narrowed her eyes at him, and used her quirk on him. His eyes shot wide when he felt himself rising up to the ceiling. This broke any self-control that they all had, and half of them were on the ground laughing. After the dance lessons, they all decided to grab something to eat. All the couples were holding hands as they walked to a nearby restaurant. Well, everyone except Aoyama and Sero, who were as single as they come. I still can't believe that you're still unable to dance after all these years. Deku frowned at his fiancée with a pout. Hey, it's not like I haven't been trying. Bakugo glanced back at Mina, who was walking behind them alongside Kirishima. Don't look at me. I gave up on helping him soon after I gave up on Kirishima. They're a lost cause, Baku bro. Kirishima just shrugged. I can't deny that. Everyone laughed in response. Pinky, you don't get it. The nerd has great foot coordination. Everyone, including Deku, showed clear signs of confusion. What are you talking about? Remember when we fought on campus after hours in our first year? What about it? I don't think you realized it, but you had great footwork. You literally looked like you could dance salsa with the way you were moving. Kirishima was taken aback by this news. Wait, Bakugo. Are you telling me that you were able to notice his footwork and fight him full on at the same time? What about it? Mina found amusement in this newfound knowledge. Ha. Gotta say, I'm impressed. I didn't think you could do something like that. Of course I fucking can, Pinky. Laughter filled the air as they all conversed with each other and later walked into the restaurant. It was only a month before the wedding, and the wedding shower was planned to take place in a week. Everything had been going smoothly, too smoothly in fact. It was all set in stone, and now all they had to do was wait for both the shower and the actual wedding. However, something had been going through Deku's head recently. He had never once in all the years they were together questioned their compatibility as a couple, but that slowly started to change when he realized that they really were going to be together forever. It wasn't that he didn't want forever, because he wanted that more than anything. But he saw the way his partner was with other people, and couldn't help but think that there was someone better for him out there. There were so many people that would be a much better match for him. He thought Kacchan deserved so much better than him, and he couldn't help but feel more anxious as it got closer and closer to their wedding. That's why he asked Uraraka to come over sometime during the week to talk about it. They were sitting in the living room together when Deku told her everything that was on his mind. I think Kacchan is catching on to me too. He keeps asking if I'm okay, but thankfully he doesn't push it. Uraraka reached across the table separating them, and held his hand in hers comfortingly. Deku, you need to stop thinking like this. Why would he propose if he didn't know you were the one? We've been dating since high school, so he never even got the chance to see who else is out there for him. What are you talking about? There's not a single person out there that's a better fit for him than you. You and I both know that's not true. Deku became quiet for a moment. Maybe I should call off the wedding. Uraraka's eyes shot wide, and she was about to say something when she froze. Deku noticed this, and became concerned. Uraraka? What the fuck did you just say? Deku's eyes blew wide as he slowly turned to look over his shoulder. Kacchan wasn't supposed to be home until later that night. Thinking bubble. When did Kacchan get home? When their eyes met, Deku couldn't read his partner's expression. His eyes were slightly wide, looking at him in shock, with a plastic bag by his feet that he had probably dropped. There was anger and disbelief mixed into his expression. I just asked you a question. What the fuck did you just say? Uraraka felt the thickness in the air, and took that as her cue to leave. She stood up, and grabbed her purse. I think I should get going now. She turned to walk out through the front door, leaving without a single word said. Deku opened his mouth to speak, but Bakugo cut him off. What the hell were you talking about with round face? You want to call off the wedding? After everything we've done and been through together? All those years, and now you want to fucking dip? What happened to forever, you fucking nerd? Deku stood up from the couch, and walked towards him. It's not like that. Well, it sure as hell seems like it. Deku was starting to get frustrated by this point. You don't understand, Kachan. What could I possibly not understand when I walk in just to hear the love of my life talk about canceling the wedding? Izuku couldn't handle it anymore, and raised his voice back. Kachan, stop it. You have no idea what's been going through my mind. So what the hell is? Deku opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Bakugo was breathing heavily by this point, and when he didn't get a reply, he stormed off to their room, slamming the door behind him. After a good minute to process what had just happened, Deku followed his lover into their room, only to find Bakugo quickly stuffing clothes into a duffel bag. Kachan? What are you doing? I'm going to stay with shitty hair for a few days until the shower. But why? Bakugo paused and looked at him with an anger in his eyes that he hadn't seen since they entered UA High. Are you seriously asking me that? Is that even a question? I'm fucking pissed, and I can't even look at you without blowing up inside. He quickly stuffed in a few more clothes, and zipped the bag shut, swinging it over his shoulder. He slid past Deku out of the room, and quickly walked to the front door. After processing what Kachan had just said, Deku ran after him as he was slipping on his shoes. Kachan, wait. Bakugo turned around to look at him. Think about what you just said, and figure out what the hell it is that you somehow couldn't tell me. I'll be waiting for you at the shower, and if you don't show up, I'll have my answer. With that, he walked out the door, and slammed it shut behind him, leaving Deku standing there in shock, and with silent tears running down his cheeks. What did I just do? Bakugo had decided to walk to Kirishima and Mina's apartment. He needed some fresh air, and was fully aware that he was in no condition to drive. The hero ignored the stares that he got as he walked down the street. He hadn't bothered to put a hat on or anything to go incognito, so he was easily recognizable. The stares were either from fans who were excited to see him in the flesh, or people that were too scared to approach the menacing-looking hero. In all honesty, Bakugo was glad about it. He didn't want to be bothered, and if someone approached him, he might quite literally explode them to pieces. He paused as he stood in front of the door to Kirishima's and Mina's apartment. Bakugo had his fist raised a few inches from the door, contemplating whether or not he should knock. He hadn't even texted them ahead of a time, and now he was planning on sleeping there like he owned the place. Thinking bubble. Maybe I should just rent out a hotel room. Just as he was about to leave, the door swung open. Baku bro, what are you doing here? He slowly turned around to look at her, and the expression on his face was something that she had never seen before. Sadness and helplessness. Kirishima had come home soon after Bakugo arrived, and was also surprised to see that he had come over. After asking if he could crash on the couch for a few nights, followed by their immediate approval, they all sat down in the living room. Bakugo had explained the whole situation to them, and the clear concern showed on both of their faces. Bakugo looked terrible, and everything that happened was a real blow. So what? If he doesn't show up this weekend, are you going to? He didn't dare to finish that question. I don't know. I mean, we would obviously call off the wedding if he doesn't want it, but I'm not sure about our relationship from there. Wait, you aren't seriously considering breaking up as an option, are you? He was silent. Only if he wants to. Bakugo, I know that he would never want to break up with you. He loves you. No offense, but I know him better than anyone, and right now, I'm not even sure what he wants. He placed his elbows on his thighs, and let his head hang. Like I said, if he doesn't show up this weekend, then we'll cancel the wedding, and figure out everything else from there. The couple hated the situation, especially Mina, since she knew why Deku was acting the way he was. It was obvious to her and a few others, but the two idiots in the room didn't seem to notice how insecure Midoriya felt. She knew it wasn't her place to say anything, but she had to do something before it got worse. If Deku wouldn't tell Bakugo the real reason he was hesitant about the wedding, then someone else had to. When she got the chance to sneak away, She pulled out her phone and scrolled through her contacts. She called the number, and impatiently waited for the phone to be answered. Before the person could say anything, Mina spoke. Uraraka, are you busy? We need to talk. Uraraka had left knowing that there was going to be a big fight. But she never thought in a million years that it would have gone to this extent. She was even more concerned when she realized that Deku hadn't done so much as text her about what had happened. He never did this, and the last thing she knew he needed was to be cooped up in a house hating himself for everything that happened. Uraraka wanted to leave right then, but she was working. She had requested for a half day ahead of a time, so there was no way she could leave early. Thinking bubble. Maybe I can go after work. She turned to look up at Ida, who she was currently on patrol with. Tenya, what time do you think we'll be able to get home? Maybe around midnight. Damn it. He'll probably be asleep by then. Who? It's Deku. Something happened and I wanted to check up on him. Ida became very concerned. Is he okay? Physically yes, but I'm not sure about mentally. I can just visit him tomorrow. She stopped for a second, realizing there was something else she could do. She took out her phone and called someone. Hey Bakugo, are you free for lunch tomorrow? They had decided to meet up around noon, and now Uraraka was just waiting for him in the restaurant they had agreed on. She lifted her head to look up when she saw someone with blonde hair walk in through the doors from the corner of her eye. A staff member approached him, most likely asking him about where he wanted to sit. Bakugo. Over here. She was waving her arm so that he could see where she was, and he started walking towards her. He pulled out a chair and took a seat. What's up? Nothing much. You wouldn't have called me to meet up if there was nothing much. She sighed where she sat. Thinking bubble. Still getting straight to the point I see. It's about the fight with Deku, isn't it? She silently nodded. Yeah. Bakugo sighed, and brushed his fingers through his hair. This isn't your problem, round face. I know it's not, and I'm really sorry for crossing the line, but there's something you need to know. Bakugo perked up, and looked her dead in the eye. What is it? It's the reason why Deku is acting like this right now. I figured that you didn't know, because if you did you'd be back at the apartment with him by now. Should I be worried? She ignored his question, and continued to speak. That was something he had to figure out on his own. Bakugo, Deku is insecure right now. What are you talking about? He thinks that he's not good enough for you, and that there are other people out there that are better than him. The blonde looked shocked. You're fucking with me. I wish I was, but I'm not. Is this the fucking thing he couldn't tell me? God damn it, Deku. He tightly gripped his hair in frustration. Why didn't he just talk to me? He was frustrated at his partner, but he was more frustrated at himself. Thinking bubble. Why didn't I figure this out sooner? I knew something had been off with him recently. I kept asking him about it, but I didn't push it. I should have just forced it out of him. That stupid Deku is always coming up with shit that's not even true. He then wore an expression that she thought he would never make. Helplessness and defeat. How do I always manage to fuck things up? Bakugo, stop blaming yourself. I won't lie to you and say that you didn't do something wrong, but so did he. But you can't just go on without talking about this. This is the first time you guys have had a fight like this, and it's only going to get worse if you two don't address it. Bakugo looked down at his interlocked fingers that rested on the table. What the hell am I supposed to do then? Uraraka sat there, and thought about it. Maybe just start by apologizing, and reassuring him that he doesn't have to be worried about that. I know he'll apologize regardless, but if you clearly tell him that, then it'll all turn out fine. Bakugo was about to say something, when he cut himself off. He looked up at her with an expression that yelled his determination to fix all of this. I think I have an idea. So you're going to sing to him again? No offense Baku bro, but you can't sing to him every time something goes south. Kirishima, Mina, and Bakugo were all sitting in the living room, and Bakugo had just explained his idea to them. Well, do you have any other bright ideas, shitty hair? Mina turned to look at her boyfriend. Kiri, we literally confessed to each other through lyric pranks. Yeah, but we were in high school. This is different. Mina face palmed, and turned her head to look at Bakugo. I think it's a great idea. She shot the redhead a side glance. And I'm not just saying that for the hell of it. Telling him that he's perfect for you in private, and yelling it out in front of everyone, is a huge difference. It'll make a much bigger impact. You're making sure that everyone knows, and that in itself will truly convince him that he has nothing to be worried about. Okay, I'll give you that. She wore a smug expression. Of course, but Bakugo, what are you going to sing? I'm not sure. I had more time to figure it out for the proposal, but this is so last minute. How about just the way you are? Bakugo raised a confused eyebrow. Just the what? The couple deadpanned, and Kirishima pulled out his phone as he muttered, uncultured. He looked up the song on YouTube, and played it for all of them to hear. Bakugo cringed when he heard the beginning of the song. Oh, I remember this one. My mum used to make me sing it all the time. It's so annoying. Well, that's about to change. Do you still remember the lyrics? Yeah, of course I do. It's pretty much become ingrained into my mind. Then that's your song. She pulled out her phone, and started typing something. What are you doing? Bakugo, you only have 2 days until the wedding shower, we're gonna need help. Uraraka had decided to personally pick up Deku, and she wasn't surprised to see that he wasn't in the best mental state. What she was surprised by, however, was that the man was still in his pajamas. He wasn't anywhere close to being ready for the shower. Izuku Midoriya, you are going to that shower whether you like it or not. Why? Kachan will have his answer, and he won't have to settle for me. But that's not what you really want. Of course I don't, but I don't want to be selfish with him. Now, Uraraka was a generally nice and cheery girl. She wasn't the type of person to just go off, but there was a limit to what she could handle. She wasn't holding back anymore. Deku, that's exactly what you're doing. You're being selfish and running away, just because you're afraid of something that's not even there. Don't you get it? He loves you. If he thought there was someone better for him out there, he would have left a long time ago, but now you're going on to 8 years strong and he hasn't wavered once. She was breathing heavily, after having yelled out everything the green-haired man needed to hear. To be frank, he was taken aback. He had never seen that side of his best friend before. Now get your head out of your ass, and get ready for that damn shower. Your future husband is waiting for you. They had arrived a little late for obvious reasons, but that reason was unknown to Bakugo. That's why he felt airflow back into his lungs when he saw his fiancée walk in. The blonde had been getting nervous as more time passed, hoping that Deku wouldn't actually ditch the wedding shower. Meanwhile, Izuku was looking around for Bakugo. Oh honey, you're here. We were wondering where you were. Deku was caught off guard when he suddenly heard his mother speak, but immediately composed himself. She hugged him, and he hugged back. Hey mum. Sorry I lost track of time. Why didn't you come with Katsuki? Izuku slightly panicked for a moment, trying to come up with an excuse. He had to go do something, so I offered to pick up Deku. Mum, do you know where Kachan is? He was with Kirishima the last time I saw him. Thanks mum. I'm going to go look for him. He looked around, ready to search through the crowd for a blonde or redhead, when he heard the tap of a mic. He turned around to find himself getting a strong sense of deja vu. Bakugo had a mic in his hands, and was standing in an empty area. Hello everyone. First of all, I want to thank you all for attending the shower. We're grateful for all your love and support. But now I want to talk about something very important. I know that everyone has their insecurities. That they worry about how they look, how others view them, and who they are as an individual. I also know that these same people, more likely than not, are fearful of what's ahead of them in the future, and their influence on other people's lives. But life is so unpredictable. No one truly knows what their future holds, and there will always be people that think badly of us. This is why we must embrace who we are, and get ready for a better future. Why we shouldn't spend our time worrying, but spend it living. As Bakugo scanned the crowd, he easily found his beautiful fiancée. And there's someone that means the world to me. Who needs to know this? He needs to know that all his fears and worries aren't needed for our forever. So like the first time I publicly told him something very important, I have a message for him that I want to tell him in the same way. All of a sudden music started playing. Izuku knew exactly what his fiancée was going to do, and what he was going to sing.
Like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know, when I compliment her, she won't believe me. And it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay, I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah. Her lips, I could kiss them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know I never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you are, the way you are. Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah.
As he was singing, Deku had been slowly working his way to the front of the crowd. They had kept their eyes on each other the whole time, and Deku's had slightly watered. Bakugo walked towards him, and held both of Deku's hands in his. I love you, Deku. You're perfect just the way you are, and I wouldn't change anything about you. There's not a single person out there that I can imagine having a future with. You're more than I deserve, so don't ever think you're not good enough. Okay. Deku smiled and nodded with barely noticeable tears in his eyes. Okay, I love you too, Kachan. Hello fellow humans. Thank you for watching until the end. Trust me when I say I was just as anxious as you were when I was writing the script for this. Cause I was for real writing along the way, and was just following where my brain took me. I also want to say that there were actually a few times where I felt too tired to work on the script for this video, but when I saw your comments, it's like energy came back full on. You guys for real give me life, so thank you so much for that. Anyways, before I end this, I want to make an announcement about an upcoming video. Along with part 3, which is already in the works of this mini-series, I want to make a Q&A video for some of the couples I mentioned in this video. Those would be BakuDeku, Kirimina, Todomomo, Kamijiro, and Idaocha. Comment your question below if you want to participate in the Q&A video. I apologize for the huge amount of angst loudly crying face, but I hope you liked it regardless. I'm also calling out for help to my fellow editors. I am an editor myself, and I haven't been able to find any BakuDeku scene packs loudly crying face. So if there are any fellow editors out there that know where I could find some, please DM me on Instagram at xuriedits. I will love you forever. Loudly crying face. 2 hearts. Have a nice day. Smiling face with hearts. Red heart.